What's up everybody, welcome to Vinyl Fantasy. Today I am making a lo-fi beat from scratch. Guys, before we get started today, please hit subscribe down below. You can hit subscribe. Lots of good stuff going on today. Let's get in the bag. Ethos by no idea what that says. Alright, Ethos, we got a dreamy fantasy type of thing going on here. We got like an Alice in Wonderland. She's got her ear to the door. There's some magical stuff going on the other side of it. Alright, and on the back, this is where we get down to the nitty gritty. First thing that I notice is a lot of perms, always. Not a surprise, I'm always noticing the hair first. This guy's got 47 synthesizers here, all surrounding him. So I'm guessing there's going to be some pretty weird sounds on this, which is awesome. The drummer got all kinds of percussion here, so I'm guessing there's going to be some grooves. There's a song on here called Pimp City. That's the first one I'm going for. These guys came to play. I came to do some work. Let's throw them on the turntable and let's see what happens. Alright guys, give it up for Ethos. This Ethos album, I gotta be totally honest, this was not a gimme. There's not much that I heard on this that is dope. And also, I think the needle on my turntable is like really starting to crap out because it's just skipping all over the place. And so there may be some stuff on this that I'm just not able to get to because my needle is kind of crapping out on me. Alright, so here's the deal. I think this beat sucks and I have no more albums. So I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary and I'm gonna cruise over to Goodwill because that's the closest record store. Wish me luck. Alright guys, back from Goodwill. I got a couple of things. There wasn't a ton there, as you can imagine. A lot of crap. I didn't even find any 101 strings Jazzmatic, but I did find some Judy Collins. Now if you can remember, Judy Collins has been on the show before. Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, she can deliver us again. 1979 was when this was made, so I'm hoping that there's some grooves on it. Not sure how I feel about this album. I want to really be turned on by this. It's giving me like that 13 years old, finally getting to see your 50-year-old algebra teacher naked, and we're going to finally find out if the carpet matches the drapes.
You'll be coming back. It's my little defense. Desperado, why don't you come to yourself? I remember sky. It was blue as ink.
Alright, that's cool, but honestly, I feel like we could probably do a little bit better than that. And frankly, I'm a little disappointed in you. I've got a couple albums left from my emergency Goodwill run, and at this point I'm just going to start digging, because that's what we do here on Vinyl Fantasy. We dig for old crappy weird records and we turn them into loud hip-hop bangers. Don't get it twisted. I picked up this random cowboys and stuff on horseback, and looks like some sort of a wagon train. I'm just going to try to throw this on and see if I can pull something off of it. It's called Paint Your Wagon, and I paid 99 cents for this at Goodwill.
You wanna live life and the don't like it here. No name city, no name city.
This sample is okay, but what I'm really after is the end of it. So one of the things about this piece of audio that you may or may not have noticed is that there's no underlying drums really. Thus, there's nothing I need to do to warp the sample to make sure that it adheres to a certain tempo. I'm free to basically just copy, paste, chop, slice, and dice, and put the sample where I want it. Next, I'm just going to lay down some drums. So basically I just took a drum break and I slowed it way down, and I also took out the hi-hat, just so that it sounds extra stripped down and gritty. Plus, I moved some of the snares off just a little bit so that it would sound kind of sloppy and more human. Next, I'm just going to start dropping in little pieces of my sample to see what sounds good and what fits with my drums. Man, that vibraphone really sounds like shit, huh? There it is. Next, I'm just going to start taking out gaps of silence in the middle of this audio sample and start dropping in other pieces of audio just to kind of make it glitchy. You can really stumble across some pretty interesting loops by doing it this way, I've found. I'm going to add some bass using the Native Instruments Rickenbacker bass plugin. I'm also going to add the XLN Audio RC20 retro color to all of these samples just to make them sound extra gritty and old and vintage.
So as this beat kind of continues to unravel, it's really starting to sound pretty murky. It's putting me in a mood. The cassette fuzz coming from the RC20, kind of the wear and tear, the warp that I'm putting on it. This vibe begins to emerge of just like some low-level mob shit. Just some rude, disrespectful, kind of sell you 20 sheets of fake acid, sell you an 8-ball that's laced with ground up fluorescent light bulbs, seduce an 85-year-old lady just so you can abuse her senior citizens discount at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then cheat her grandkids out of the will, and then smile at them at the funeral while you're wearing a blazer with a dickie. It's the kind of shit that you sneak up at a sports arena and break a woman's leg so that she can't compete. It's reminding me of some Jeff Gilooly type shit. And so that's the vibe I'm going with. Kick a dog for looking at your pork chop. Just a foul, mean, senseless act of violence. Shout out to Jeff Gilooly. Let's go.
Please allow me to noodle a little bit using the clavinet plugin from Arturia.
And so here's how it stands right now. I've got my drums hooked up, and I just want to reiterate, I got the clavinet from the Arturia plugin. It's nasty. It sounds super vintage. You can play around. I'll get into another video at some point in the future on how I kind of play around with it to make it sound, you know, really old and grimy. I'll play a little bit of it right now. And you can really hear the RC20 plugin. You can hear that cassette tape hiss in the background, which is what I want. I want it to sound like it's coming off of an old reel-to-reel or a cassette tape or something. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the bass. You can hear the bass. I've got the RC20 on the bass as well, with some cassette tape fuzz, and I got some wobble on it as well because I want it to sound kind of dissonant. I want it to sound kind of crappy, so I'll play that for you real quick also. So with this, I've also got a little bit of a sub bass sample that I'm going to throw on this as well, because I'm using a drum break and I really want to beef up the low end as much as I can. I've got this sub here. It's just an 808 sub. So basically what I'm going to do at this point is just kind of find a place for my kick. So I just highlight this, Command D on Mac just to duplicate it. We'll see how it sounds with the bass. You know, when I started making beats, it was like quantize, quantize, quantize. Everything has to sound good. Everything has to be exact. And, you know, anymore, I'm like, I like for things to sound a little bit off just because it makes it sound more natural. The beat's pretty much ready to go. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for us today. Had a lot of fun playing around with this. If you guys have any suggestions on hardware, software that you guys like to use to get that kind of old school sound, throw them in the comments. But yeah, appreciate all your support. Continue to like, continue to subscribe, continue to comment, share this if you're feeling it. And yeah, we'll be back with another hitter soon. Shout out to Nancy Kerrigan. Shout out to Tanya Harding. Shout out to Jeff Gilooly. Big shout out. More to come. Vinyl Fantasy over and out. Peace.